the Rivals community, we need to talk. Specifically about how we treat support players. Now, you might be saying to me like, well, if I know you, you're a support player, right? Well, that is true. I mostly play support and comp. The past few seasons, I mostly played DPS and tank overall. Of course, I would play my best, and of course, ranked. And it's not like, before I start the video, it's not like I'm a very low ranked player. I'm consistently high Celestial. I have positive win rates against Basm, against Lucky Zeal, against Nexus MR, against Ultons, against Eshigo, against Tato TV, and the list goes on really. I have gone against these top 500 overall players. When Wanted still played this game, I beat him. I have beat plenty of top 500 players. I know what I'm talking about. I know what high ranked is. Now let's just get straight into it. First, starting with a Cloak and Dagger, new Statistical ability. Specifically, dive mains. And specifically, I would say even DPS mains as a whole have said it's unfair that she's immortal. Sure, it technically counts, saying it this is immortal because she technically is in that ability. It's not like her ult where she's immortal. She's bursted down. Hell, that's the other game. A Luna ulted, who has one of the highest healings in the game with her ult. I believe the highest, if my memory serves me correctly. We bursted her down. Like, it was super easy. But most low-ranked players cannot burst down a support ult because they either have bad aim, bad coordination, a mix of the both, or something else. That's not me bashing on lower skilled or low-ranked players at all. That's just really a truth. That's why they're down there. Anybody who's low-ranked right now would probably admit, yeah, I don't really have the best of aim, or I don't really have the best positioning, I don't really have the best this, best that. Nobody really has the best anything until you really get to the very high ranks. And even then, there's a lot of people who can't aim, can't position, etc. When you get to high ranks, support ults aren't immortal, and with the Statistical ability, yeah, sure, it can be qualified as that. People say, oh, you can cycle all three over and over and over again, bailout after bailout, but let me ask you this. Except for severely lopsided games where the enemy team didn't have any deaths, or your team didn't have any deaths, can you remember a game where a Cloak and Dagger had 0 deaths? Now, some of you may answer that in either saying no or with an insult. That's really how predictable people are. They'll probably say, oh, because they're Cloak and Daggers, they can't play the game. They're Cloak and Daggers, they're brain dead. They're Cloak and Daggers, they're this. They're Cloak and Daggers, they're that. And then, oh, well, the Statistical ability is so unfair. Which I don't think DPS players are talking about what's fair or not. Just going down the list. Black Panther can kill under the human reaction time before the nerf. Now it's just maybe half a second more. And there was BP main saying after that was removed, that he's dead now. So let's get this straight. After BP got nerfed so he can't kill someone under the peak reaction time of a human being, they now call him dead. Got it. Spider-Man. Back when he had a 1 meter nerf to his uppercut, dead. Daredevil, when he got his first nerfs, dead. Not my words, these are DPS mains, mind you. Phoenix, when her Beyblade tech got removed, dead. If you weren't there back then, she pretty much could melee cancel with another ability and spin in circles over and over again, and kicks sparked the enemy. So you kicked, and then you got spark, explosion. It was just a Beyblade of explosions, which of course self-healed her. They took that away because it was extremely broken. No, Phoenix is dead. Cyclops' damage got nerfed. Oh yeah, he's dead. Black Cat got nerfed. Oh yeah, she's dead. The list goes on here. Torch got a rework to his movement. He's dead. But what about all the people who didn't say anything about when Loki, in the span of 1 season, got his healing nerfed by 20% and his damage by 33%. I didn't really hear anybody talking about that. Imagine any other character getting the same treatment who's not a support. The equivalent would be kind of, let's say, a Magneto. Minus 33% on his damage and maybe like 20% on his health. That would be such a huge nerf to him. What about Spider-Man? Minus 33% to his damage, minus 20% to his health. The health maybe not that much, because, you know, he already has like 250. But that damage, minus 33%, that'd be a whole lot of stuff right there. You would miss a lot of combos. It's not just Loki that got that treatment, had nobody talk about it. Not to mention, Loki has a bunch of counters being added to the game. The OGs being Bucky and Moon Knight, who again are still extremely strong. Moon Knight just got several buffs. Let's see. Oh yeah, Emma can get charge off of illusions. Iron Man can get 1 second plus to his overdrive on illusions. Black Cat can steal money off of illusions. Daredevil can build his chargers off of illusions. Mantis can get headshots, which can refresh your leaves on illusions. Adam can headshot Loki illusions, and you guessed it, bring up his heal cooldown. The list just goes on. And people are complaining about Cloak and Dagger. Guys, remember when she got 2 seconds off her ult, and then everyone was calling her a throw pick? Do you know if you have a good Magneto on your team or on the other team, a Cloak and Dagger is pretty much useless? Not to mention, have you ever considered that supports can also be counted as anti-dive? That's what maybe Cloak and Dagger is if you think about it. And even then, she's not good at patty caking since her healing is so low, it's built around healing in teams. So if you try to heal a person one-on-one, it's not going to do anything. It's like tickle healing them. That's why she has her bubble. Her bubble's not for herself mostly, it's for her other teammate, her other support, and her icicles for herself. If she didn't have her bubble, she would probably be the worst healer in the game that can patty cake. What about Ultron? He's only really good in severely high ranks or severely low ranks, but in general in the most of the player base, he is considered bad in a throw pick. You would never want him in double support. He's bad. Really, he is. What about Rocket? They nerfed his wall crawling speed, his dashes. They nerfed pretty much all of his movement when Dive just keeps getting stronger and is getting more movement. His ult now has a decay system to it. If you get farther away, you get less of the impact to it. In my opinion, every single character got stronger after the team-ups, but Rocket got worse from what he was currently before. Is that really fair? What about all the supports not getting any buffs to their healing after their anchor bonuses got removed? Just to list a few off my mind. Adam a few seasons ago, minus 15% healing. Cloak and Dagger in Season 9, minus 15% healing. Heal Pool, Season 9, minus 5% healing. Gambit, Season 9, minus 5% healing. Invis, Season 9, minus 15% healing. Mantis, minus 10% healing. Rocket, minus 5%. And White Fox, minus 10% healing. Keep in mind, half of those never got any buffs for it. But we're supposed to sit here and believe, yeah, that's fair. Supports, their base healing is stronger than ever. No. DPS has been overlapping supports and buffs and damage and everything for a while now. I'll put a graph right here. This is with team-ups. You can see the red line. DPS is skyrocketing above tanks. And you might say, of course, DPS have more buffs than tanks. They're like double the characters. And yes, that is true. This is buffs minus nerfs. And then whatever that equals per season, the graph either goes up or down. And at the end, right there, tank is at 105, DPS 113, dive 50. You know what supports is down there? 14 buffs total, positive. Now without team ups, here's another graph right here. Tank positive 89, DPS 115, supports 25, dive 49. So without team-ups, dives are getting about double the buffs compared to supports, and then over triple the buffs for DPS compared to supports, almost 4 times as many. If you go back to with team-ups, DPS are getting about 8 times as many buffs compared to supports with team-ups. You know what dive is? It's almost 4 times as much as supports. But we're supposed to sit here and believe that dives never get buffed? That supports never get nerfed? What are with these popular narratives and this spewing just falsehoods? It creates a narrative that's completely unfair. Hell, in the past, the devs have said that people don't peel for supports. And multiple seasons later, there's multiple people who said, I'm not peeling for my supports, they're immortal. So you just proved the dev is right that you don't peel it. Okay. And what about the dev is also saying, just recently, going into the season, not even going into the season, like maybe a week ago at most, right now as we're recording this, the dev said they've already hit supports hard enough. If the devs are saying they hit someone hard enough, that's saying something. Not to mention, they just said they're keeping Elsa Bloodstone strong in the meta. They know she's strong, but are not nerfing her because she shakes up the meta. Right, because that's fair on everyone else's part. Not to mention, dividing buffs by characters. Here's the graph with team-ups. DPS gets about 4.18 buffs per character, dives 5.55, so dives get more buffs than DPS themselves. And then of course supports are way behind at 1.07 buffs per character. So pretty much every season that goes by, supports are up 1 buff. Man, they only get buffed, guys, never nerfed. What about without team-ups? Let's see, DPS are 4.25 buffs per character, which is up. Dive is 5.44, and then support is 1.29. So congrats. Not counting team ups, supports are getting just under 2 buffs every season. Keep in mind, there's 13 characters in support right now. Meanwhile, there's 27 characters as a DPS, and they're getting 4.25 buffs. I'll let you do the math for that. People are complaining, oh, the Luna, you know, her CCs, those are annoying, her freeze, her cleanse. You shouldn't break out of an ult. You know there are abilities who can stop ults even before they happen? Not to mention you're counting on, okay, this Luna has all of her abilities off of cooldown. Let's see, Daredevil can deflect a giant maximum pulse coming for his head. Pretty much a nuke coming towards them. Yeah, he can deflect it. Okay. Iron Fist, maximum pulse, block, bunch of overshield. Magic, iframes with her portals. Black Cat, iframes with her dash. Star-Lord, iframes with his roll. Every dive character either has extreme movement, extreme bonus shield, excessive iframes, or all of the above. Chances are, the vast majority of them are multiple above or multiple of them. And that's just not fair to anybody. Black Cat was not meta for 1 season. They buffed her and now she has the highest win rate in the game in terms of certain ranks. Man, but I thought supports, when they got nerfed, they got buffed right after because they can only be weak for 1 season, right? Not to mention, there's people out there who were saying Luna has been the best support for every season. If you watch my past videos, you know who I'm talking about. These people seriously think Prime Gambit, Prime Loki, Prime Invis, they're all weaker than the weakest Luna Snow. But yeah, guys, it's, you know, Luna Snow, who has a negative win rate but a high pick rate, meaning she loses more against people who aren't herself. Cloak and Dagger, who's immortal, who can get 3 bailouts in a row and cycle them, has a negative win rate with a high pick rate, meaning she loses more to the people who aren't herself. Meaning for Luna and Cloak and Dagger, who people call immortal and top tier supports, lose more against supports who aren't themselves. If that's high tier, we better rethink the Widow's strength before her rework. Keep in mind, these are the same people who say Loki was meta when he received the 33% nerf to his damage and 20% nerf to his healing. When his pick rate plummeted, with his win rate plummeting to I think like 44% back then. People just need to admit that everyone treats supports horribly and have double standards just for them. Oh, triple support, triple support, triple support, it's horrible, it's horrible, it's horrible. You know what the devs did? Oh yeah, here's a giant list and a giant graph showing all the most popular comps in the game, counting 2 different triple support comps, 2-1-3 and 1-2-3, have some of the worst win rates compared to any other comp. But yeah, triple support is immortal. People never like to admit that they're wrong. And time and again, these type of players keep getting proven wrong, but they would never admit it because those are the type of players they are. They would never admit it. They'll say their character is dead 1 billion times for getting a slap on the wrist. But when a support gets a giant nerf, no, they're still meta. Invis's shield went from 50 healing a second herself to 15. And her shield health also went down from 250 to 200, and the shield recovers at a slower rate to compensate for the lower health. She's still meta, she's still strong. She's maybe solid at that time, but you gutted her survivability. Now sure, with the Human Torch team, she has a 300 HP shield that still heals her 15 a second. That's like Ultron Penny team up right there. Actually, it is exactly how much Ultron's healing does. Meaning, Invis's self-shield can get killed by bots before it actually heals a person. Bots outdamage Invis's shield healing. And what about in-game? When sometimes there's damages that are 5 times as much as the shield heals. It's tickle healing, it's nothing. She heals almost 2 times as much while invisible doing nothing. And keep in mind, that Ultron Penny team up can heal multiple people at a time. Invis, sure, can heal multiple people, but you don't really want to group up. It's just going to be for Invis most of the time, where now I mostly use Invis shield to damage boost my teammates. With the fire team up with the Human Torch, I put on like a Punisher turret, or like a hood ult, or any of these more damaging DPS, because DPS are so overtuned, you might as well give them all the damage boost they need. Supports now have been turned into conduits to boost the damage for DPS. Not to mention, people had so much complaints about Invis, about Luna, having immortality circles. They made Gambit, who did pretty much the opposite, where healing was ticklish, I would say, and the biggest benefactor was movement and damage. Oh, it's so broken. Do you know why it's so broken? Because DPS is so high. If DPS was lower in this game, Gambit ult would be weaker. People don't realize that though. Sure, was it overtuned when it came out? Yeah. But I fully believe the past couple seasons it has not been overtuned. Do you know what has been overtuned, which it's boosting? DPS characters. Same with Rocket ult. Rocket ult, it would be horrible if DPS was lower. Rocket would be out of the meta right now. Hell, he's one of the worst supports right now. But a way to get him out of the meta is to put DPS lower in the game. Not to mention all the anti-heal that's been added to the game, the increased vulnerability, the lessened healing, the increased damage. Everything to push down supports. But again, guys, supports get everything they want. Sounds about right. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next YouTube video. See ya.